3 is the future.
Welcome, crew, to What Are Your Three, a Channel 3 podcast, where normally we take a member of the Channel 3 community, but today we're continuing with our developer projects. We're here talking with the founder and creative director of BouncyBrain, a new game studio based in Spain. We're here to talk with Guy Bareli today about what is now known as Mechanimals. You will have seen it previously on the site as formerly known as Fluffy Ex Machina, but now Mechanimals. Flows off the tongue a little bit, but Guy, hello, welcome.
Yeah, hello. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so a little context for everybody. Guy is making the foray into independent game development. Guy has been in the animation business for over 15 years now. You have most likely seen something that he has been involved with. He's been involved with DreamWorks, Warner Brothers. He's done everything from storyboarding, animating, to the head of story, running shows and directing. Most recently, you've had all sorts of stuff. You've had Penguins of Madagascar and Hotel Transylvania, even all over the place. But you had a Minions holiday short that was your baby too, right?
Yeah, I mean the Minion Scouts. Yeah,
that's right. But most recently you had Mermaid Magic on Netflix. I think you were the showrunner. You directed several episodes of that one, I believe, as well.
No, my wife and I showran the show, and we directed all 10 episodes and executive produced it. I never thought I'm going to run a show called Mermaid Magic. If you asked me 10 years ago, I would say no way. Actually, I remembered my agent told me that they're looking for a showrunner for a show called Mermaid Magic, and I remember I have the text still. I said, based on the name, I don't think it's a good fit. But then I met the folks at Rainbow. Those are the guys that did Winx Club. You familiar with Winx Club? It's a big hit about fairies. Girls love that show.
No, I have not. That one has not caught my daughter's attention. And that was the Rainbow Collective, I think you said, right? That was
Rainbow SPA. They did Winx with an X. And it's a new show that they did. And they were super nice. And during the interview, I said, listen, I always wanted to run a show, but I'm more like a boy kind of show guy, and but my wife always wanted to run a girls show. So do you want to maybe take her on board as well? And they were very nice. They interviewed her, and I ran the show with my wife, and she really brought a lot of cool things to the show that I could never have thought of, just from a female perspective. So it was cool. It was a good experience.
Always good to have the balance with that. So.
Totally.
Well, we're here today. We're talking what is now known as Mechanimals. So first of all, I have to ask. Well, let me go through this. Let me introduce the game itself. The once adorable world of Full Steam is being taken over by the evil, greedy, and environmentally unfriendly mega corporation Croc Inc. and its army of diesel-powered AI-controlled robots. How dystopian! I love the exclamation point on the end of that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so you've got your team of your animals, your renegades, known as the Team Steam with renewable energy tech, and they're there to meet the horde of Crocbots head on and liberate. You've got basically, animals with mechs at different points in time and doing some battle here. So first of all, I just have to ask, we were chatting just before and you gave me a heads up. The name is changing, which I feel flows off the tongue more. I don't know if that had anything to do with it or Mechanimals is now the name.
Yes, it's fresh off the oven. This is a decision we made like a couple of days ago. And I think it's the right decision. I was attached to the name Full Steam. It's a show that I actually wanted to develop for a long time. So we thought about a name, Full Steam. It's a cool name for a kid show. But for an indie game, we're trying to get people's attention, want to stand out from the noise. And you need to capture people's attention and you need to kind of let them know what the thing is, as quickly as possible. So I think Full Steam, Fluffy Ex Machina, it's like people don't even have the time to read that before they're gonna keep scrolling. You know what I mean? So I think rebranding is important at this point.
Yeah, it's funny. I was joking with you, I was trying to figure out, will I call it Full Steam? Will I call it Fluffy? Will it be Ex Machina? We're gonna talk about different Deus Ex later, but it's good. It helps flow a little bit. You talked about it, and you're diving into a world where you're battling everything's battling algorithms now, and that includes Steam's attention, that includes Kickstarter's attention. I mean, first of all, you're going live on Kickstarter a few weeks after this episode drops. It'll be February 24th. So go find on Kickstarter now. We'll have all the links attached for everything, of course, to the episode and on Channel 3. But you're battling a lot of algorithms, and I'll say your trailer and your animation, your visuals certainly puts you in a different class than, I mean, no disrespect. Like I love all sorts of indie games, and you find some of the best, weirdest one of friend of the show, one of our frequent collaborators. Just go play an indie. It may be something weird, but it's always going to be something different. But you're
right.
You guys have a really catchy trailer. You've got great action happening. Not only do you have clearly your animation background being flexed in the trailer, and really quality cutscenes that can be distracting for some, where you're like, oh, the cutscene's so good, but then you have the action of the game itself that matches the animation, which I think is going to be really important for catching people's attention. And again, wish list on Steam. Go do that now. That's the best way to support indies. Yeah. Follow BouncyBrain on there. Go wish list. We'll have some quests up on the site to tell people go wish list the game that day that the episode drops. But anyway, I digress. But so you came into this. I saw on Kickstarter. This looks like back in 2014. You started some work around a series. It sounds like.
So yes, I was at Warner Brothers. I was executive producing a bunch of movies, and then after the merger, a lot of projects got canceled, unfortunately. But could have been a blessing in disguise, because I had to finish my contract there, and I had some free time. And during that free time, I met our my programmer on the game, Jonathan, here in Spain. And I just floated the idea. I showed him the show, and I saw the guy, and I was like, I like you. Let's do this together. And I pitched him the show, and I said let's do a game. And he was like, okay, sure. So we just started working on it for fun. And I had all the time in the world. I had 3 or 4 months to do that. And it was my first foray into games. And we said, let's just do like something easy. Let's just do like Vampire Survivors, something like that. There was everybody did Vampire Survivors back then, 2 years ago.
Yeah, there was 2 years ago. You had a rush of it for the coming out there.
Yeah, because
everything's Balatro this year, but you're ahead of the game. That's whatever's happening.
Yeah, but yeah, it was easy. It's like an easy way to make a game. So we kind of prototyped something really quickly. I bought a bunch of assets. Also, a big decision was what kind of platform to do it on, whether Unreal or Godot or Unity, and we went for Unity at the end for various reasons. So the game we're developing in Unity, and then we just decided let's do a sprint. Let's develop it for 3 months. Let's do a Vampire Survivors. Let's buy a bunch of assets in Unity and just put something together. Now, fortunately for my development of the show, I had a model of the mech, the main mech. The main guy, his name is Coop, and his big red mech called Meteor. So I actually did a maquette for the show. So we actually used the same model as the maquette we just dropped it in the game. The maquette was done by an amazing artist named Sergi Cavaller. He's a modeling supervisor at Disney. Now he works at Meta, and he did an amazing job with the sculpture. And we just dropped it in the game, bought a bunch of assets, and it was working pretty quickly. So that was kind of the beginnings, and all thanks to the merger, and all thanks to the project dropping. So that was kind of the beginning of it.
So how did you settle? So it seems like roguelike beat 'em up is kind of where you moved for the game. You've got mech options, you've got on foot options, and animals doing some battle here. How'd you decide on the direction for the game?
That's a really good question. I think the most important, and it kept me up many nights, this question. I think it comes down to what kind of game I would like to play. And I think it also comes down to my family, because my son is 9 years old. He was 7 years old when I started thinking about that. My daughter is now 6, and I wanted to make something that we can all play together. So something that he can enjoy, not like I like dark stuff as well. I like adult games and crazy stuff and blood and that. But then it's like my son wants to see what I'm working on, and I can't show it to him. So So that's one component. And then the second component is what I liked to play, and that this is going to tie up to the rest of the podcast, is my background as a gamer, right? Um, what kind of games I like to play, what kind of nostalgic charm, what you know what I have connection for in my heart to, and that's like when I was, and this ties it when we talk about games. Like, I think when you talk about games, it's like super important to talk about where you were in your life playing the game, because if you take it out of context, you could say objectively, Zelda Breath of the Wild is the best game ever or whatever, but or everybody has their own favorite. But I think when you tie in, have you seen the movie Ratatouille? Do you remember the moment where the food critic tastes the ratatouille for the first time?
When he has the actual dish, the curmudgeon-y, the curmudgeon-y older food critic who's just miserable and and then just one bite. Yeah,
one bite, and whoosh, you zoom into his eye and you see his memory as a child, and his mom makes him this ratatouille, and whoosh back to the present, and it just hits it just moves him in a way, So if I make a game, if I decide to jump into an endeavor, it has to have some kind of connection to something that I really love, and playing games in the arcades with my best friend, when I was 15 years old, and we played these beat them ups, has a connection. And then, obviously business wise, if you look at stuff like Castle Crashers, I think Castle Crashers made, I'm not sure if it's 120 million or 12 million, but I think it's $120 million.
Yeah, they keep re-releasing and porting and upgrading and HDing. So it's one that just continues. I mean, that's been a decade of that thing.
Yeah, growth
to be out there.
Earnings. I'm gonna Google that like right now. I think it's 120. No, sorry, it's $12 million. Okay.
Yeah, but still,
I'll take a tenth of that. That would be nice, But so business wise, there's I think there's a market for that. I think people like to play together, especially like nowadays you can play it online, so you can find you have online matchmaking, you can have cross-platform stuff. This is all very complicated programming wise. I'm not, we'll see what we can do for sure. When it comes out on Steam, we're going to have remote play. These days it's super easy, it just automatically works basically, so you'll be able to play with your friends together. That said, the game is going to be really fun single player as well, because these days we have the roguelites, so the roguelite element is going to be really fun. And my goal is to really make the game randomized, so every time you play a run, it will feel completely different, not just I know a lot of roguelites, they do different rooms, right? You slightly upgrade yourself and then you go into different rooms. In this sense, it's not exactly the same because it's all side scrolling, but the enemies are going to be randomized. So you're up against an evil AI, right? So you're up against an evil corporation, then Croc Inc. They have giant Ks. If you look at the trailers, all the robots have giant Ks. And the evil AI, he's kind of funny, but his name is K.I. And the CEO, Mr. Croc, is like, give K.I. more, give him more compute power, give him more. And his scientists are like, I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think it's a good idea. It's like, give him more. I need to stop this team, give him more. So, and I'm not going to spoil the end, but it's not good. So you're up against this K.I. and every 2 minutes, you'll see this big eye just go, and boom, he upgrades the enemies in a different way. So sometimes you get more, this type of enemy. Sometimes you get, they shoot more fireballs. Sometimes they're tougher. Sometimes there's more of them. And every time you play, it's going to feel completely different. It might break. The game might break. But I don't mind games that break sometimes. If it's for the, what I mean? Like sometimes a run would feel completely impossible. And sometimes a run would feel like, wow, I'm getting all the best stuff and K.I. is not getting good stuff at all. But like, I think there's a charm to it. I think like games like Binding of Isaac, they, sometimes you got like crazy stuff, you had great runs, and that's part of the game, right? Or Hades, sometimes luck is part of it, so that's kind of the premise.
Yeah, you touch on Hades, Balatro, and Binding of Isaac, and just how you catch those elements properly. Of just like, okay, it's never going to be the same. It sometimes it's easy, but always like it's just how do you make the best use of what assets you have and what you have to go up
That's
against.
right.
It's
Exactly.
always going to be something
Exactly.
different. And
It's an arms race, right? It's an arms race. So you are competing against KI. So it's like that's the idea.
yeah, I think that's how you really make a game that catches attention now. Also, it's not like, oh, this was there are great games like Greece and some others that like, oh, this is a beautiful playthrough. And, and you tell everybody like, hey, go play this game. And then there are games where, like I referenced Balatro, that's just still on fire a lot of places. And like, I will have 2 runs that end miserably, bordering on like a joking gamer rage, and then other times like I steamroll through it, but it's always something different. And there those games that like it's always different. It's catching your attention. Like, hey, let me do another run. Let me go at this again. You guys really should try this. That's the stuff that you really see working now. For people, not just like, hey, we're throwing stuff at it. Like, we want to make this an ongoing, engaging experience for people. So it's going to be exciting.
That's right. And so I talked about games that inspired me, but the world is different now, right? The technology, if you will, of gamifying stuff is advancing. So you can't deny, it's undeniable that the roguelite thing is amazing. And that way you don't, also for an indie studio, you don't have to spend an enormous amount of budget on level design and on, we can do, I don't know, I love the Mario games, but I don't know how much they cost, to make, but you can get the same, or different like level of engagement with using the roguelite kind of formula,
Yeah, Mario costs a lot less when you make Mario Maker and make the people make the game for you. That's
right. That's also cool.
Yeah, no, also cool.
So let me also add that
please.
we decided to add a PvP mode. So so it's actually a lot of fun. I'm playing it with my kids. So it all ties into the story. So Team Steam, they're this renegade mech team with a renewable steam energy, and they are on board their huge train base. So between levels, you go back to the train base, and it ties into the story as well in the campaign, but I'm not going to go into that. But they also train a lot, and that was part of the movie idea or the show idea, is the training. I love training sequences. As a board artist, I boarded a lot of training sequences. I boarded the training sequence in Kung Fu Panda 3. I boarded the training sequence in the Minions Rise of Gru. In the Mario movie, by the way, the latest Mario movie, I boarded the training sequence. And in the show, and the Mermaid show, we didn't know what to do towards the end. So the head of the studio was like, you said something about training sequence. Let's put a training sequence. And I was like, hell yeah, let's do a training sequence,
We all felt the Mario one. That one was that one hit a lot of people close to home.
Oh, great. Yeah, I boarded that thing. The instruction were basically a paragraph like, we want Mario to train, and we want to capture the feeling of the game, So I bought the game, and I played it with my son, and I died a bunch of time. We got to I think we played the deluxe one.
The new one, the new Super Mario Brothers deluxe. So
it was deluxe. It was before Mario Maker.
One,
it was like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah,
and there was like the Star World at the end. Did you get to that Star World?
Oh, yes, it was. Yes.
And then they had the level
punished.
of
it punished
the pendulums and the huge fireball. Yeah, so it's like the game rewards you for not giving up, right? That's the whole idea, right? So you get hit, you die, and you try again. So that was the whole premise behind the Mario training, right? Is that he trains the whole night, and the thing about Mario is that he never gives up. He's like Rocky, right? He gets punched and smashed, and he keeps getting up. So that was kind of the idea behind the training center. But I digress. So
that's okay. You have to appreciate you did a lot of the DiCaprio pointing memes for a lot of people that I knew. He did the thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. That's cool. That's good to know. Yeah. Actually, if you guys wanna, the listener, if they want to subscribe to our YouTube channel, I'm going to do a comprehensive overview of my training sequences throughout the movies. It's kind of my idea. I just want to get an approval from the studios to be able to put that stuff, but it's in the works. So I'm planning in the next couple of weeks to do like a big overview of the the Kung Fu Panda one and the Minions one and the Mario one, and kind of talk about they're not really hard, really. They're kind of like you can't make a bad sequence, basically, right? It's like what can be bad, right? It's like a character is not good at something, and they have like a sensei or somebody like that makes them go through an obstacle course or some kind of a series of things, and they keep failing them with cool music, and by the end of the song they're good, so it's like it's amazing, right? We love that from the Rocky movies and from how do you say in English, Karate Kid.
Oh yeah, going back to those 80s Rocky, through the guy who made Rocky made Karate Kid. So yeah, that's what you got.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
That's right. So in the game, the idea of the PvP is that they're training, basically, right? So that gives them an excuse to hit each other, and it's super fun. It's a series of level. I make those levels super quickly, right? So they're on the train, and the idea is that Leela, the cat, she's the sensei. She's the most experienced fighter, and she has this training room in the train, and it has these crazy grinders and electric traps and grenades and stuff like that. And so every time you play, it's kind of like have you played Towerfall? Remember Towerfall?
I don't know that one. No.
It was like a 4-player local co-op. You shoot arrows at each other. It's kind of like that, but 3D, right? So it's like it has a Z-axis, and I haven't seen too many like that. Like you look at Super Smash Brothers, they're 2D, right?
Yeah, all X, Y.
This one is a 3D, and it's a lot of fun. I made 7 little arenas, and I can make one in like 2 days, basically. So I'm planning to have for the demo like 15 of them, and they're really fun. They're very competitive. You can play 1-on-1 or 4 free-for-all, and they really break the like you do a run, and then let's do a little bit of PvP, and then let's do another run, and you gain meta currency. We call them meta cogs throughout the runs and also throughout the PvP. Why not? You can gain some of that, and with the meta currency, you unlock MECHS. So that's the whole premise of the game. So the 4 playable characters are available from the get-go. There's 4 animals. And the mechs are not. You only have 1 mech. So if you want to unlock more mechs, you need to play the game and get some meta currency. And each mech has a completely different play style, and that's kind of the premise of the game.
Yeah, so that's where a lot of the roguelike seems to come in with some of the mech activities or what it was looking like there.
That's right.
My kids will be excited. That I know that'll be their favorite part, is the PvP. Just chaos that will no doubt come from battling each other.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's a lot of you hear a lot of noise coming up from the room when we're playing. A lot of emotion. My son sometimes he gets disappointed when he loses. But that's part of it.
Well, we will have all the links. So again, BouncyBrain. Make sure you follow on Steam. Make sure you go to the Kickstarter. Make sure you wish list the game on Steam. We'll have all of those links available. But again, BouncyBrain and Mechanimals, the updated name for this one. So that's going to be really cool as that proceeds forward. Again, February 24th, the Kickstarter goes live, and some already teasing out some cool bonuses for supporters, which is always it's always fun for a game on Kickstarter, but it's more fun when you get to see some of the bonuses that are out there, and you see your animation history and kind of how this has been gestating in different forms for you over time. It looks like it'll be pretty cool to see.
Yeah, totally. So what's cool about the rewards of the Kickstarter, and let me just first say that the Kickstarter is super duper important, since we're a new studio and we need the kind of the funds to get started. We need to show publishers that there's a market for this game. And the more we can raise in the Kickstarter, I'm letting everybody know, the more mechs we're going to have. So that's the idea. So at the minimum, the bare minimum, we're going to have 4. But if you guys want more mechs, then you'll have to see we'll have to unlock together the tiers, and you get more mechs, more and more mechs. We can have up to 8 or 10 or whatever you want. It's just it takes time to develop them and get the balancing right. So that's kind of the premise. As far as the rewards, what I think a lot of indie games don't have that we can offer is original artwork by animation artists. So we're very excited to say that we're collaborating with an amazing artist. Her name is Birgit Ulhig. You can look her up. She's from Germany, but she lives in Los Angeles right now. She was one of the co-directors on this viral short called Legend of Pee. I think it's about a cat. It has millions of views. I think a lot of people know it. Have you heard of it? You can look it up. Yeah.
Yeah, not one I had, but I'll be looking it up afterwards. I know that.
Yeah, it looks really cool. Yeah, it's a really funny cat. And she's amazing. She works in the animation industry. She worked with me on the Mermaid show. I saw her artwork and I was, this is the most amazing thing I've seen in my life. It was like incredible. So she did the cover art for us. If you look at the cover art with the MECHS in the Kickstarter, she did that. And she's also doing a lot of drawings. Now we're going to launch the Kickstarter together. And a lot of her prints are going to be available for as rewards, like amazing prints you can hang on your wall. You can keep them. So she's one of the amazing artists we're working with. Another one is Erin Sheen. She's an incredible artist. She works at Netflix right now. She did the character selection portraits and a lot of the basic, like the main portraits of the characters. She's great. We're gonna have prints of her as well. We're also, but this is for the top higher tier backers, and then we're offering for the higher tiers as well little figurines, for you to build, to assemble, based off the big maquette that we have. I don't have it with me, but I'm actually traveling to LA next week and I'm going to bring it, so I'll show it to everybody. It came out really great. So they're going to get that. And then, of course, digital rewards. We're going to have original skins that only backers get forever. Like nobody's going to be able to get these mech skins that they're going to be able to get. And, of course, access to exclusive content. And I actually made a webcomic that I took down. It's an animated GIF webcomic of kind of, it was called Full Steam, and I put it on for a little bit, and then I saw a lot of attention. I was like, I don't know if this is the right time for it, and I took it down. So you'll get that as an exclusive reward as well. And yeah, it's going to be really cool. We're very excited about the launch.
Excellent. So all the links will be there. Be ready for it. Support along the way as we can see this one being fun for everybody. Now, I appreciate you coming on. We're going to talk a little bit about your history. You've touched on your history here. And you talked about, I think the first one sounds like this might be a time and a place type of game and taking you back. But you sent over a few games, some genres too. You smuggled in a category too. But you want to start out with XCom Enemy Within. Going back to 2012. So how did this one lead the way? This is the one I was like, okay, let's see I want to know where this is going.
Well, it's just my favorite game, hands down, of all time. Everybody asks me, it's my favorite game, And it's funny because we're making a beat them up, an action game. So you would expect me to say an action title, but I'm actually a big strategy guy. I like strategy games, and I wanted to make this as a strategy game. I just thought it's a bit too complicated as a first game to make a strategy game. I love to play them, but I think coming up with them is very complicated. So I'm actually looking to partner up with somebody who is really good with strategy games. But XCOM is my all-time favorite. I just think, and the original one, there was not the original one, but the Enemy Within, or Enemy Unknown. Let's say
Enemy Unknown and expansion Enemy Within. It always confuses me which one's which. I can never remember, and I always have to look up which one was which.
Yeah, Enemy Within is just a little bit more stuff. There's mechs there too, by the way. Enemy Within, just a bit more stuff. I liked XCOM 2 as well, but I thought XCOM, that one just hits the right chord for me. I'll talk about it. Let me start with the beginning. I don't know where to start. Let me start with the beginning. So, so that was the original XCOM. I believe I was something like 14 years old or something like that, or 13 years old. And I was like, what the hell is this? This is amazing. And I remember I was really frustrated by that you just die. It's like a roguelite, but they kill you after like 5 hours.
Time is not on your side. That's exactly. There's a clock.
Yeah, but like you can't go back. You can't load a save an hour ago because you were already on the way down you have to start over, and it was just brutal. And I love that. I just, if you get over that kind of hump, then it's just so rewarding when you are on the right track, and you get super attached to those little guys, those your little troops, and you can upgrade the shit out of them, by the end of it. And then if one dies, it's like, oh my god, like I named him, and I gave him a color, and I colored him, and I gave him this equipment, and he just died because of a bad dice roll, or a bad decision or something like that. And I think I like that brutality. I like XCOM, that the fact that it's a little bit of chess, and it's also a little bit of you know Dungeons and Dragons, or role play in the dice roll. So you have this kind of a little, I don't want to sound, just a little bit of a gambling high, a little bit.
There's a chance element, right? When it works out for you, you get that dopamine hit, and when it doesn't,
right.
I'll get it next time. I'll get it next time.
Yes, or when you don't get it right, all of a sudden there's a really difficult puzzle you need to solve, and you're like, hold on, let me take my time here. Maybe there's a way to. The game really forces you to stop and think, like you're playing chess against a computer, but it's not fair. You know what I mean?
Because it knows more elements than you do. It knows, like, oh, this enemy over on this side is stronger than you think it is, and there's two more that are going to make their way over that way, and you don't realize it, and you send like one unit over there, or you don't send enough units over, and then you're done. You're wiped out. It's over.
Well, it's not. Well, I know the game super well, so I'm going to go a little nerdy. I'm going to nerd out on this, okay? So the XCOM fans would know what I'm talking about. So the game works since the old one, that there's pods. There's pods of enemies. So when I said it's not fair, I take it back. It's fair. It's not that it's cheating or anything like that. And once you understand the logic, you can only blame yourself, or there could be like just a horrible dice roll that just messes everything up. But there's
real dice would have done better for me than computer. You start doing that stuff and rationalize.
Oh yeah,
I would have rolled it. It would have rolled different for me.
Super frustrating, when it, but then you're like, okay, let me do it again. Let me try it again. So the pods, if you pop the pods, then they would activate. The aliens see you and they would deploy. But when you don't pop the pod, it's all good. So you're like, you just have to advance very carefully. And you say, okay, now I'm going to pop it when I still have all my turns left. You don't want to pop it when it's your last guy. And oops, I just popped a pod of crazy enemies here, like a flying saucer that's going to one-shot me, So there's that element. So I was charmed from the get-go. And then when XCOM Enemy Unknown came out, they just did such a great job with the art design I played it on the PlayStation, I believe, and it just felt really good on the PlayStation. And the graphics, do you remember that game? Do you see a vision in your head?
It was a real PlayStation 3 game at that point. Like it was towards the end of the life cycle, so you really saw that they had unlocked. Like it looked good. You know what I mean? Like you saw the same elements of XCOM 2's one.
It's not even that they're like technologically it was amazing. Like these days, Unreal Engine can do amazing.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between technology making it look great and artistic vision making it look great. And it had a really cohesive and artistic vision. And you can see that they put like love into everything in that game, from the cutscenes, which were amazingly directed. Like to this day, I'm like, this is great. To the gameplay, which is just the balancing, and there's just so many moving pieces in not only each mission was amazing, but like and by the way, randomized again, that element, but the campaign was amazing. The balancing, so many different things, and so I got to the level that I loved it so much I started playing Impossible on Iron Man. Do you know Iron Man difficulty? You know what that is?
No. Well, yes, I do, but no.
You can save. You can save. You can't save. You just you die. Like if one of your guy dies, you're basically dead. So, and what really made it the best game for me of all time is actually the iOS um,
Getting the mobile.
porting to iOS, because I think that the XComs are the best when they're playing on a tablet. The best. It just feels so good to be able to use your finger and to take it to a plane with you, take it to the
Yeah. Moving
to a
and
trip.
deploying is a little
Yes,
smoother than trying to use the controller.
yes. So
Huh.
so let me change my selection. So my number one game of all time is XCOM Enemy Within on the tablet, on the iPad, and I still play it to this day. It's a time killer for me. Like when I'm on a plane, I just pop it up and I play it at the campaign on impossible, and I die and I die and I die and I die, and sometimes I win. Like I actually finished the campaign on impossible Iron Man about 4 times. You know, actually the campaign, if you pass the first 4 months, it's like you get funded every month. The first 4 months are the most difficult. Once you kind of level up your guys into, like, lasers and stuff like that, then it gets a bit easier. But the first 4 months, you keep dying. I don't know if I'm just bad, because I just see people on YouTube, they really know well that game, and they don't die as much as me. But I don't care, because
They show you the good clips. Don't let them
right,
fool you. They're
they
showing you
record
the
it a lot.
good. For every
Yeah.
good one, there's 10 rougher ones. Don't worry.
Yeah. So, but I just love it. I don't mind. I know what it is. It's brutal, and it's just like solving a puzzle. And I tried my best to solve that chess puzzle. And if I get a bad dice roll and I get one shot, then so be it. Then I pop on the next campaign, and each campaign is completely different. Like I said, because of the randomization, it's completely different. So
Your second game, you're going back to 2000s action RPG with Deus Ex. One that is burned in my brain because this was a big PlayStation 2. Me kind of seeing like, oh, this is what the PlayStation 2 is going to be versus the PlayStation 1. I didn't do this one on PC. I know it was on PC, but this was
it was on
PS2.
PC. Yeah, I played it on PC. Yeah, that was amazing. That game was amazing. I brought Deus Ex because the name of our indie game was Fluffy Ex Machina. So now it's less relevant because it's Mechanimals. But Deus Ex, I would still that used to be my number one for a long time before XCOM came along. Maybe before XCOM iOS came along. And that goes to what we talked about games playing like touching you in some way, like like the Ratatouille thing, that it brings you back memories of a kid playing a lot of video games, way too many video games at the time, drawing and playing video games, basically what I was doing. And just sitting and playing Deus Ex, and I played, I love Doom, I love Duke Nukem and first person shooters and stuff like that. But it was the first time that I just felt it's really deep. Like it's really, you know what I mean?
You're crossing into a cinematic territory though too. Like you were blurring the lines between games and entertainment more than they had before. Like especially like some of the PC games in the 90s and like the first PlayStation, you had a lot of cinematic cutscenes and you had actual video recordings and whatnot. But there was something about like playing this game to me crossed more into I'm participating in entertainment as opposed to just playing a video. I don't know if I'm even
not just entertainment, but a good entertainment, like the Matrix. Like
it was really original too. Yeah.
So like the whole story about Illuminati and whatever, the Freemasons and the AI taking over and merging with AI and this whole cyberpunk thing. It was like really pioneering that kind of stuff. And I don't even think they had a lot of stealth game back in the day, and that was, you can choose to play the game in a stealthy way. I think they had System Shock or something like that, which like the precursor for Bioshock.
Yeah, you had System Shock, you had the Metal Gear Solid that you
right
really had to go stealthy,
right.
But it wasn't. It wasn't. I
can't
big.
believe I haven't mentioned Metal Gear. Yeah, Metal Gear.
Oh, yeah, but it wasn't as big though as like this was there, and you had, like you said, it was an option. Like Metal Gear, they're gonna punish you. Like they do. He does everything possible to make sure that you don't. Kojima will make sure you will go stealthy, but
it wasn't like a stealth game per se. But what was amazing is like, okay, am I gonna invest in my hacking and like hack this door or this turret, or am I gonna invest in my fighting skills and blast my way through, or am I going to invest in my stealthy skills and just sneak around? I know Cyberpunk, did that, but I think Deus Ex was a huge influence on Cyberpunk. It came before that, and that was the first game that did that. But also story-wise, it's super deep. Again, it goes to the how much love you put into it, and I think they really put a lot of love. And it feels like they made this world that's way bigger than the piece that you're playing, even though you're playing a key piece. But you felt like it's a living, breathing world. And I tell you one thing that made it into my top list, and it was like one experience that I had. All right, are you ready? So I finished the game, and it happened very little times, but I started it again back to back. I'm going to start it again. I'm going to do it in a hacking mode or something like that. I remember the only other game I did it was Mass Effect 1. It was like, I love this game so much, I'm going to do it again. It was so good. And so played it again. And then in the first level, I don't know if people know this, the ones that play Deus Ex, you can go to some kind of secret door or some weird turn and go down the stairs or something like that. I'm getting chills just talking about it. And all of a sudden, you are in like a Majestic 12, like they're the big conspiracy. You find out, I don't remember exactly the story, but you find out that these Majestic 12, I believe they're called Majestic 12, are like this Illuminati type crazy group. And you freaking stumble across their base on the first or second level. And all of a sudden, you're like, what the like, this is stuff you find out like 10 or 15 hours later. And they put this like room you can get to, this base with this top tier soldiers and top tier information that you can stumble across in a very secret, very difficult pathway inside the Statue of Liberty. I think the first mission, the Statue of Liberty, is just like a introductory meeting.
It was just I didn't realize that, because I just remember like it was just there to capture visually. I didn't realize that happened.
To get inside the Statue of Liberty, the base is there. The base is there, and I think maybe the only way to know that is if you finish the game, or I'm not sure. But that was like, that gave me chills. I was like, what? And they put a lot of effort. It wasn't like a little Easter egg. It was like a fully designed level, and you can actually finish the level. You can kill them. You can get in from. You can get a crazy upgrade, like a rocket launcher or something for the rest of the game. Like crazy. It was amazing, and like this, you know what I mean? That's
it
amazing.
Sticks. It sticks with you too.
Yeah, to this day. Yeah.
So your third game, you nearly gave the entire thing to Capcom. You should have just called it Capcom. You went with arcade beat 'em ups, and clearly, I think we could probably say for Mechanimals, this is a big piece of Mechanimals here.
Right.
But
so
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, you go ahead. What was the question?
I was going to say you listed a bunch of them, and I think there's a color palette element to it too, because there's so many games that are Deus Ex included, where like I picture browns and greens, but like no, these games had some color and they had some fun to them, and like you said, you talked about I can picture the arcade, or you listed Golden Axe. Sega got to sneak onto this list. That's the only reason Capcom didn't run the table here. But like you mentioned Golden Axe, and immediately I think of the now destroyed bowling alley that was down the street from where I grew up, and I can smell the stale tobacco and in the place. Like it brings you back. But you brought up a number of them. You brought up Captain Commando, which was an early 90s one for Capcom with a beat 'em up.
Hell yeah.
You brought up Cadillacs and I have to say before that, you brought up Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, which I had to look up because I thought you were messing with me. I didn't believe you that this one existed. I did not know this one.
Yeah, it's a silly name. So yeah, I couldn't have said it better. Exactly. It's the smell. We remember the old bowling alley. In my case, it was this shopping mall that I went to with my friend. And I remember the exact door that we went through, and we went there almost every day, and we got some quarters and we put them in. And there was this the samurai one. I forgot, the Warriors of Fate. That was the go-to one. But and the Punisher and that. So yeah, I gave the game I actually wrote down is the Capcom bundle, the beat 'em up bundle that came out, I believe 2 years ago or something.
Yeah, a couple years. Yep.
Yeah, so we got that for research purposes, right? So we decided to do a beat 'em up, so research, but also nostalgia, and yeah, that's exactly it. simple, right? You go, you punch, you throw, you get to a boss. They're probably gonna kick you, and then you put another quarter, right? They designed those arcades to
Yeah,
kick.
they were built to suck your quarters up, which is an element
Exactly.
that I know my children don't get to experience because everything's loaded onto digital cards now. But having that feeling your pocket full of quarters getting lighter and lighter and lighter is not an element they get to appreciate the same way.
Right.
Swiping a card.
But you do get that feeling of other people in the room, and the noises of the arcade, and the energy in the room. It was full. It's not like these days that everybody has consoles, and everybody's online. There wasn't even internet back then, or there were like these modems you have to call. Remember those, the BBS?
That was most of these games were before we had internet in my house, so that was that was not.
So,
you couldn't jump online. Oh, let me go. My kid jumps online and plays Fortnite with the kid across the street. Like that doesn't happen at that point.
So you meet at the arcade, right? And it's freaking cool. You play with your friends, you talk, you hear other people, they're moving around you, people are coming, watching you play, and this kind of energy, and that's something that will always be with me, will always be a part of me. So when I make whether I make a show or a movie, I try to connect with something inside me that likes the thing on a sentimental level. And that's the reason I decided to go indie and to make something that connects with me on the sentimental level, and not work on big movies that are great, and I love my job, and I love storyboarding, I love directing, but this is a bit more personal, and I'm hoping to kind of stand out of the noise and get people to play the game. I'm really working hard on making it feel really good too, and really fun, and each run different. And I want to start building a community and build the game together with a community. It's something I always wanted to do. Like I take feedback very seriously. The only problem is we just started, and we have not very many people on Twitter, and 500 people on Instagram, but I do very much intend to make it for the community and with the community. So make something that kind of resonates with all of us.
Well, the thing is, too, like you talk about the spirit of the thing, right? You talk about, it's not about Nick Fury being in the Punisher game chomping on a cigar. That's not what you remember. You remember, remember playing with people. Sorry, that one just cracked me up while I was revisiting that one, because that one cracked me up too, because they threw that one in the Capcom fighting collection, the Marvel vs. Capcom fight. Like, oh, we're gonna throw in the Punisher arcade game too. Like one arcade beat 'em up. That one just cracks me up. But it's not about that. It's about the fact that you're just in these worlds, the fact that you're living these memories, the fact that you're enjoying it, and there's a lot of stuff where, like, oh, someone just wanted to make a game and they did this or they did that. Like, no, you want to capture what it felt like, and there's the artistry of it that I think is going to be important with what you're doing.
I want to capture what it felt like, but I also want to give it a modern twist with the roguelite. And I also think it's a freaking cool idea, cute animals in giant mechs. Like, I honestly, I can't believe that it's not like a big IP yet. I'm like, I want to make it fast before somebody else does. So that's kind of the three elements.
Yeah, so that's those are there. So we just a couple. I know we're running tight on time, but any I know you had a bunch of honorable mentions. Anything you wanted to shout out from your gaming history in particular?
Why did I put it in an email?
So you had like Battlefield 2, and I don't know if that was a little dedication to some heavy online play and servers that refused to die.
That was my college days. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. The Battlefield 2. I mean, just the emotion of screaming as I shoot with a puny machine gun at a helicopter, and it just explodes. That kind of rush you're getting, or when you're on fire. So much that they kick you out of the server and they think you're cheating. But I wasn't. Like, the only thing I can compare it to is like when in basketball, when you get on fire, and people that don't play basketball, they don't know that feeling, but it's magical. And it's the same thing with online games like Battlefield. The only thing is that I just didn't have enough time to put in the hours like other players. So it's like a lot of times I just sucked. so that was Battlefield.
And you had kind of like a collection of AAAs. You mentioned Breath of the Wild, The Witcher, and Grand
Yeah.
Theft Auto 5, and Assassin's Creed Black Flag. But you just kind of said, I'm guessing based on your list, you mentioned kind of done with the AAAs, and just based on the size of those games, I could probably guess why. Like, I don't have time for. I'm trying to play
Right.
Metaphor, and I'm like, I don't have time to put in 100-hour RPG. I want to play this game.
Well, yeah,
It's beautiful. It's fun, but like, I can't take 2 hours to play a session.
That's part of it. Since I had children, yeah, for sure. The Witcher 3 was the last AAA that I played.
Yeah, there's no playing that one around kids. Like there's a dad mode for Red Dead Redemption 2 where you
Well,
just
my
fish
son
and
was a
hunt.
baby.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
my son was
Not-
a
not
baby,
for The
so
Witcher.
it wasn't a problem. But the time is definitely an issue. But also, I feel like they're all the same. Sorry, I mean, I think they're really amazing artistically. There's a lot of, effort put into the story. The graphics are amazing. The sound, the world, the open world. But when you play 10 of them, they're the same. It's like Horizon Zero Dawn, amazing game, but like I'm like I played that game before. It's called Assassin's Creed. It's called whatever, The Witcher, only with dinosaurs. So, but I understand you go to a different mission. You have size mission. You had a story mode. You get cutscenes. You level up. I understand. I played that game.
It's the bloat of the fetch quests and the like. We have like a video game book club where we play through games and kind of chat about them like a book club, and we're doing Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order right now. And that was the game that broke me for like, I don't care about the 17th lightsaber hilt. Stop telling me you added 20 hours to this game because I got to go check every corner for a lightsaber hilt or a poncho. Like that doesn't count. Just let me play the 10 hours of game. I'm good with a 10-hour game, guys. I don't need you to tell me you've got 50 hours worth of game and I spend 40 of them looking for a lightsaber.
But you don't feel that like, third person, the camera's behind you, you're exploring an open world, whether it's a Jedi world or a robot dinosaur world or a Red Dead Redemption world, which is a masterpiece for sure. But
yeah, they're all different big ones for me.
Yeah. Okay. You don't feel the repetitive. I do. I feel indie games are breaking the mold a lot more, and I need something to engage with on a cerebral level, and like, ooh, that's a fresh. I haven't felt like that before. Like when I played, Arco just came out recently. Did you play Arco?
No.
You should check it out. It's cool. It's like a turn-based, but it's real time. So it's like it stops every second. It's like it stops, and the bullets keep going, and it stops. You have to do something, then it keeps going. It's really cool.
Huh.
So games like that, or FTL, or stuff like
yeah,
just amazing. Just different. It's different. It's not. It's a completely different thing, and that's what I think indie games. They have so much innovation. Which AAAs are just doing the same huge game formula.
Well, yeah, like there's games like I can't remember. There's one. It's escaping me right now. I'm trying to find the name of it, but like there are other games like Salamander County Public Television, of just like a dumb collection of mini games that's just wonderful. UFO 50 came out last year from the guy. I think he made Spelunky, I think, or whatever. But like this collection of just like 50 wonderfully fun games. I can't remember the name of. There's one that's escaping me where you're playing a producer in a TV booth that has to juggle like what camera is showing up, not letting your TV host cursing on stage. God, why can't I remember the name of that game right now? But it's ludicrous. But again, it's like, no, you're gonna find stuff in these indie games that you're not gonna find in these things where
Yeah.
Again, I think this is all coming. The AAA thing is coming to a head. The last year has shown us that this is going to get real weird in 2025.
There's no reason to spend $100 or $200 million on a game. Like there's no reason to spend. You can make cool stuff these days with the technology we have.
Just wait till Grand Theft Auto 6's budget drops and they finally tell us what that $1 billion is.
That is just a marvel of technology. I mean, that is just I have you have to try that.
Yeah,
but
you made $10 billion on the last one. I guess you could throw a bill at the
or the Zelda game. I mean, keep making those. Those are great. But yeah.
Well, hey, I did want to ask you one thing before I let you go. One of the things we do is we have a quest on a daily basis. We ask a question of people to discuss, and I just wanted to ask you. You're a long-term gamer. You go through the arcade times onward, but what's your gaming beverage of choice? Like, what do you have with you when you're sitting down to play a game?
I have to drink alcohol.
Okay, if there's a particular.
No, are you referring to alcohol or
anything? Like, it could be anything from a bottle of water to a Mountain Dew to a bourbon. Whatever.
I started many years ago to drink. My beverage of choice is 10% lemonade and 90% water. I tend to drink that way more than just water for some reason. So that's kind of like, I have. If you look at my table, I have like five glasses already. My wife wants to kill me with all the glasses.
I'll get to them.
Yeah,
I was more curious there. And again, I know I apologize. Let me wrap things up. It take a little more time than I had planned to for you. I didn't see where the time was going for us, but I do want to just call everybody out here again. Just remind everybody, Mechanimals, like mech animals, one word, formerly full Steam, fluffy Ex Machina, but Mechanimals. Go to Steam, wishlist, follow BouncyBrain. You can find it right there on the Steam page. Follow them, wishlist the game. Go to Kickstarter. It is up on Kickstarter now. You can click notify when it goes live. So February 24th, you are ready to go. Again, you can see a lot of the designs, the inspiration. There's a great trailer for the game, a lot of screenshots there. Again, the trailer is fantastic because you get to see the animation. You get to see. You talked about the worlds, right? You talked about having a fully created world, and there's times where like, okay, we say this is a dystopia and this is what's happening, but you have these characters, you have this, you have these corporations, you have the characters, everything's really fully fleshed out, and that only comes from having a project that takes time to develop. So I think you see it, you feel it there. I'm excited to see this one continuing to develop. So
thank you.
Go follow BouncyBrain. Go find Mechanimals everywhere. Wishlist it, like it everywhere you can to get the attention that it deserves. But Guy, anything else you wanted to throw out there as I let you get back to your day? And I appreciate your time.
No, I appreciate. It was a super fun conversation. Like I normally don't talk about games so much. And it's a big part of what I love in the world. So it's. I could talk about games for hours. For me, it felt like 2 minutes. Like this.
That's why I was like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I told you it was going to be. A certain amount of time, and I blew that out of the water. And
we could have kept going
the
whole day.
Yeah, and we had more games that we could have talked about. But I
can't believe I forgot Metal Gear Solid. I mean, that's crazy.
That one was not on the list, but it just happened.
Five. The one the last one Kojima did. Yeah, that was amazing.
As someone who stands for Metal Gear Solid 2, and I will fight everybody who doesn't want to like that game and complain about it. I'm here for the Metal Gear series. But but no, again, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. And like I said, just everybody go out there. We're gonna set some stuff up to try and get some attention for
please,
for our folks there.
That'd be great.
The best part is it's gonna be a good family game, which again we kind of started. We pulled up from the ashes from a parental gaming group and have been building our own site and everything.
There's gonna be something else to play, and it's coming out for all the consoles. So whatever console you have. You'll have something to play with your kids that's not Mario and that's not overcooked. That's a little bit more edgy. So that's kind of the goal.
That'll be awesome.
But the Kickstarter has to do well. It has to do well, and we're depending on you. So
that'll be that. All right. Well, thank you. I'm gonna land the plane here. I'm gonna say where my partner would normally drop in. Find the podcast, c3.gg/podcast. All the majors. We're on Spotify is our main home, YouTube Music, Apple, wherever we're there everywhere. I'm Dan, our executive producer, Joel Willis, and thanks to Caster Garden for our theme song over at c3.gg/Caster Garden. But that's it. Have a good day, everybody.
Channel 3 is the future.